Good morning, YouTube. I'm just thinking about what appropriate response is from communities when things take place within them that are felt to be inappropriate in some way. Either inappropriate in the sense of threatening to the community, or just inappropriate in the sense of kind of derailing the community project, the community conversation, the culture of that community, if you like. I guess I was thinking about this because there was recently an incident in the UK that some of you may know about, in which an evangelical preacher, kind of pastor, called Tony Miano, who is known on YouTube actually because he's a friend of Bible Thumping Wingnut and was on the Bible Thumping Wingnut show not too long ago. But Tony Miano, who's an evangelical from the States, was over here in the UK back in July and was doing his preaching thing at Wimbledon. And he was speaking out against sexual immodesty, let's call it, particularly about homosexuality. And ultimately was arrested under Section 5 of the Public Order Act in the UK for, well, I don't know if it's referred to as hate speech, but effectively threatening public order by putting these ideas out there. And let's make no mistake about it, Tony Miano is a complete shit. And the ideas that he was putting out there were reprehensible and backward and hateful, for sure. But as a UK citizen, I have to say I am a little bit embarrassed about the fact that he was arrested under the Public Order Act. I think it's a real shame that I don't think it speaks well for me and for the country that I live in, that we had to get the authorities involved in that the police had to come down. Because it's an assault on free speech as far as I'm concerned, and free speech in that instance and in other instances isn't it isn't free because it's because the authority says it's okay for it to happen. Free speech should be that speech which a community is strong enough to tolerate within it. The stronger the community, the more free speech it can tolerate. That's a measure of the strength of a community, isn't it? And when a community reaches outside of itself for an authority, as it happened in Wimbledon, says we can't tolerate this free speech, or we can't act upon this free speech ourselves, we're going to need to bring the police in the form of the Public Order Act, then that to me shows a weakness in the community. And that, as I say, has a direct effect on free speech, which I think is a real shame. What I would have liked to have seen happen in that particular case is for Tony Miano to have been confronted by the people he's talking about. It's very easy to talk about people when they're absent or when they're assumed to be absent or when you're protected from them in some way by the Public Order Act or by other means. But sometimes you should be confronted by the people that you're insulting, shouldn't it? I mean, that should happen. That Tony Miano's presentation should have been attended by gay rights activists, by gays themselves, by supporters of gay people. And particularly, I would say, by Christians. I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure that the majority of Christians in this country, the UK, are tolerant Christians. I mean, of course, there's homophobia in the UK like anywhere else. But certainly most of the Christians that I know are tolerant Christians, liberal Christians, Christians who don't work to Leviticus. They work to other kinds of aspects of Christianity. They work to Jesus, really, rather than Leviticus. And I would have loved to see Christians there, just putting the defence up, rather than the authorities being brought in. So yeah, I mean, the same thing applies here on YouTube. I would never want to silence Tony Miano or someone like Bible Thumping Wingnut or any of the other religious people here for having what I consider to be abhorrent views regarding things like homosexuality. I've listened to those videos and I'm appalled by the kind of Bronze Age logic and the Bronze Age bigotry that's brought to bear against 10-15% of my fellow citizens, and I'm constantly appalled by that. But I'm really, really glad that there isn't a YouTube equivalent of the Public Order Act, as long as they stay reasonably within the terms of service and don't actually use hate speech. Actually, even then, as well as I do, that videos are flagged down. for those kind of things. But that's a sign of loss. That's a sign of weakness, isn't it? To appeal to YouTube to silence the opinions you don't like is just as reprehensible as appealing to the Public Order Act. The community has to act itself, really, but it's only as I say, those outside forces, whether they be the YouTube reviewers or whether they be the police in the UK, those outside forces always step in if the community doesn't clean up its own. Tony Miano would not have had to be subject to the Public Order Act if the Christians in the UK and other people who are opposed to those views had been willing to make peaceful protest. And similarly on YouTube, if Bible Thumping Wingnut and the rest of the Christians here, Tony Miano on YouTube, would not need to be flagged if there were robust. And I don't mean rude. I just mean robust, careful, honest responses. Which might be a response of ignoring as a response, or information gathering, or information distribution. Honest, intelligent responses. But as long as we're not willing to do that in real life or online, and we feel that the authorities, in inverted commas, will sort our problems out for us, and we should just leave it to them, then we're doomed, I tell you.